It's time for the Martin Houston Show with Martin, Xavier, and Simeon. Martin is a national championship fullback from the 1992 Alabama Crimson Tide, known for his bruising runs and devastating blocks. Now he's bulldozing through sports talk with that same championship intensity. Joining him is his son, Xavier, a savant of football knowledge and statistical insight. He's your go-to source for the latest recruiting news and insider updates from across the Bama Nation. And Simeon, the thinker and contemplator, bringing you insight and knowledge that is logical, thoughtful, and on point. Together, they deliver fair and balanced analysis from an insider's perspective with real conversations where the callers, the listeners, and the online maniacs get in on the action by sharing their thoughts, their comment, and their reaction. Join our online maniacs at facebook.com/The Martin Houston Show. You're listening to Tide 100.9 and 1230 WTBC. It's time for kickoff. So buckle up and get ready, because this is the sound of Bama sports. The Martin Houston Show with Martin, Xavier, and Simeon is live. Roll Tide, roll!
Roll Tide, roll. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is a wild card Wednesday, which means that we have a lot of topics to get to this morning. And we're going to jump right into it, reminding you maniacs that you can get in on the conversation at 205-342-9904. That's Empowerment Training and Consulting Hotline. Jump in on the conversation the traditional way. Call us up. Wyatt is behind the glass today. He'll take your call. We'll work you into the conversation. And, of course, maniacs, if you join us on the live stream, you're able to just post your comments, have conversations with us and with each other as we move forward. Jump in there. And, of course, if you listen on the Tide 109 app, just put your thoughts, your question, your comment there, and we'll work it into the program. Have about 5 topics that we're going to probably hit in some degree. Some we may have to kick the can down the road. But talking NBA draft, Alon, about what happened with him. You have recruiting. Of course, Thursday is the day we dedicate more to recruiting, but we will highlight Bama having a little success yesterday. We'll go deeper on that topic on tomorrow. NCAA making an eligibility ruling. Like it, love it, hate it, good, bad. What's your thoughts there? And the NBA, NFL, wow, slamming the door on Sorsby. Did he make his decision thinking the supplemental draft was an option or not? Did the NFL conspire or at least feel like, hey, we need to do the college game a favor because the college game is our farm league, even though it's a separate organization. And if we don't help them in this aspect, could we be hurting our own league by the product we call college football getting worse? So did the NFL, in its own way, intentionally help? And then, of course, we'll do our running backs and conclude at the end of the program with the Harvest Church 2-minute warning. Christian moment of the week. So remember that this is the day that the Lord has made, so let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone love, someone serve, someone be the difference you want to see in the world today. Hey guys, let's just jump right into it. I'm not the biggest guy, biggest fan, but jump in on the NBA draft. Xavier, you had something before we get into that conversation?
Yeah, just real quick. This is another pro league that is thinking about changing their draft and how it works as well. Since we have a potential first round draft pick in the Major League Baseball draft, they're thinking about eliminating high school players being able to enter the draft as well and cutting their draft from 20 rounds to 12.
Wow.
That would change a lot of things.
Yeah,
Well,
so I think that's kind of interesting too, that the major league is thinking about sending everybody got to go to college. They didn't specify how long they have to attend college, but they're thinking about shortening their draft and making everybody go to college.
well, let's kick that conversation to tomorrow or Friday because man, that's a whole nother can of worms because um, you're talking about it may be a good thing in some capacity. I literally had some thoughts around the NBA draft may be too short, meaning that they only take 2 rounds. Uh, uh, and then I thought MLB draft is just way too long. Now I remember what happened when the NFL. White, you may not be aware of this, but my senior year was a year they shortened the NFL draft to its current format. So, um, and um, and because I was guys, because I represented myself as an agent. I didn't have an agent. I had an attorney to help with the contract side of things. I was told by NFL teams that the fullback position at that time, there would be enough fullbacks that we probably as a whole would not be drafted because they knew they could get good ones in the free agency market. And you would see maybe kickers or marginal guys in positions that don't have as many get there, so get drafted. So, and it was kind of a weird thing um, that it hurt that draft. So we'll pick back up on that. But NBA draft, file on, guys. What's your thoughts, Simeon? I'll let you kick it off since you had a rough streak where you were making some predictions and it was going the opposite. So, but you got this one, but you're not excited that you got it.
Well, LeBaron Fallon, for those who don't know, was drafted last night. Became Alabama's first round draft pick since 2023. Um, he was drafted first round, 22nd pick to the Philadelphia 76ers. And now that's a good team. He's going to be going to a playoff team. So you don't have to worry about his career going to waste in the sense of he's going to like a bottom feeder who wins only 12 games a year and stuff like that. But in recent history, the 76ers have brought in Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe, and those are the 1-2 guard. And before the show started, Edge was saying that he's going to become, that new 6 man run the second team offense. And now I do agree with that. I was just hoping he could go somewhere that he was probably going to start as a rookie. So I guess I did get that prediction right. But I mean, it'll be a good spot for him to not have to rush into becoming that type of score first guy in his rookie year.
Yeah.
Hey, Simeon's not a fan just because he's not going to be the number one guy. I'm guessing off the rip, but I think it's a great spot for him. And they drafted Jared McCain the year before they drafted VJ Edgecombe, so 2 years ago. They traded him away. They needed to fill that sixth man role. And I think LeBaron is the perfect guy for that. And I think that's a great role to start his career off in. There are a lot of guys that started off six men and turned into superstars because they didn't have all the pressure put on them day one. He hasn't won anything outside of individual awards, but James Harden comes to mind. We even talk about Dylan Harper being the sixth man for the San Antonio Spurs, and we saw what he did once they got into the playoffs. I think LeBaron could be that type of engine, energy guy. I love it. Great spot. He shows out. Maybe replaces Maxi if Maxi gets too expensive, or maybe he becomes a big trade piece, ends up somewhere else where he can just take his game to the next level.
Why do you think it's possible that they have this actually allows Fallon to actually be more of who Fallon is as the second guard. Will they have him as their primary scorer, and they're not going to be asking him to work with the facility and as much in the facilitator point perspective, and his minutes may end up being in a lot of ways. He literally could come in for at the second rotation, but then stay when they take the other guard out. So, uh, is this Fallon potentially getting to be that scorer that we saw Fallon could be in the tournament, but not having to do it for a whole game?
I think it can be. I think this is probably one of the best spots he could have gone because, like y'all mentioned, he doesn't have all that pressure on him immediately. Like if you go to Milwaukee, for example, well, number one, Milwaukee's probably not going to like you because that was the pick that they that they got in the Giannis trade. So they lost a superstar. You are coming in a spot that's kind of a disgruntled franchise right there. And oh, by the way, now you've got all this pressure on you because you're the first pick or the second pick following trading away that superstar. So I like the Philly pick a lot for LeBaron. Doesn't have to be, that leading guy. Doesn't have to be, this superstar out the gate. He can sit and he can learn behind guys like Tyrese Maxey, who I can't remember if it was this show or maybe it was Wimpenberry or Gary. I compared him to Tyrese Maxey coming out of Alabama. So really, really like this spot for Barron. And maybe if Maxey gets too expensive or VJ Edgecombe doesn't, continue to rise at the level that he kind of is right now, you've got an insurance plan, but you've also got somebody that can run your second unit because you're only as good as your weakest link. And if Phylon's your weakest link on that second unit, you're in a great spot if you're Philly.
Yeah, Simeon, I'll let you kind of respond because we all said we liked the pick, and it wasn't that you didn't necessarily. I want you to be able to respond in the sense: are you saying I don't like the pick just because I wanted him to be a starter on a good team, but understanding that this may be the best thing for him is just maybe a little what you wanted to see versus the fit.
Well, based off of what he was being projected as, I had my thought as him being, uh, I guess, having to come in and be that type of
Yeah,
offensive engine to start his career. But I think the 76ers, in the sense of him not, like everybody said before, the pressure, him being able to learn under a really good guard in Tyrese Maxey, him being able to be the point guard of the second unit, I think that's a great spot for him to be able to once again, be on not a bad team, but be on a team that one he can still learn, still get plenty of play time because they don't have a secondary ball handler to come in on that second unit. So that's I think his role will just be the starter for the second unit, but because they don't have anybody else like that, his minutes could become something of 25, 30 a game just
yeah.
because of he fills a role that they don't have after trading Jared McCain.
Literally, they got two players for one. If they need Fallon to come in and be the scorer in the guard position and play off from uh, one of the other facilitators, he can do that, or he can be the lead guard and be the scorer. I just think about guys like Brandon Miller, who I haven't got to really see him play because I don't care to watch a horrible team or anything like that. I think he's kind of off in obscurity, even though he's a really good player, And so I'm hoping that this works out great for Fallon. We'll come back on the other side where we'll quickly hit the eligibility and recruiting and no draft for Sorsby conversation in the next quarter. As we go to break, want to remind you, set your clocks. We'll have Coach Kalen DeBoer of the Alabama Crimson Tide team. If you have a question, you better get it in today because if you ask it tomorrow, it's probably not going to make the cut. So go ahead. If you have a question for Coach DeBoer you'd like for us to ask, go ahead and put that in the thoughts, comments, and reactions, or give us a call at 205-342-9904. That's Empowerment Training and Consulting Hotline.
Tide 100.9 traffic. Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. A very good morning to you on your Hump Day Wednesday. Getting off to a nice and quiet start as we usually do. Looking at flyover bridge construction on Skyland at 359 and Skyland between JVC Road and 2059. You've got road construction. Speaking of 2059, all is well in both directions, traveling between University and Joe Malisham. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, Tammy Thomas.
This report is sponsored by RockAuto.com.
Save more at Townsend Nissan. Sentra, $195 a month. Rogue, $288 a month. $6,000 off Pathfinders and 3 years of free oil changes. Townsend Nissan, your family in the car business.
Oof, shocking time to lose a whole strut.
Ugh, comedy is not your thing, but I do know that Rock Auto has what I need to fix it.
With parts shipped right to your door. No kidding.
All the parts your car will ever need, Rock Auto.
After a wreck, everything you do matters. Say the wrong thing, your claim is denied. Miss a step, evidence disappears, and the insurance company closes their file. That's why you need protection now. You need someone who knows the process and protects your rights from the start. Call Ms. Reno. Dial 900-9000. That's 900-9000 for a free consultation, no fees unless we win. No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be formed is greater than that of other lawyers.
Hey, I'm Martin Houston, and I want to tell you about exciting news happening at Box Eye Care. They've moved to their new location, bringing you a brand new lab, stylish new frames, and a fresh look just for you. Enjoy their expanded frame inventory, competitive prices, and faster service, all with the same great level of service you've come to know and trust. Discover this full-service eye care at Box Eye Care's new location. With their in-house lab, they offer unbeatable value and one of the largest frame collections in town. Schedule your eye exam today and walk out with new glasses in less than an hour in most cases. Visit boxeyecare.com. That's boxeyecare.com or call 205-342-0660. That's 205-342-0660. Visit them at 5003 Oscar Baxter Drive. That's Box Eye Care. Your vision, our priority.
When it comes to custom apparel, trust your local experts at B&B Sports and Silkscreen in Northport. We specialize in team uniforms, event apparel, company branding, and custom hat patches. We offer professional screen printing, DTF prints, and embroidery with fast turnaround times and quality you can count on. Give us a call today for a free quote at 205-339-7361. That's 205-339-7361. Locally owned, locally trusted, and ready to bring your ideas to life.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Here's your Tuscaloosa and West Alabama forecast, and we could see a pop-up shower or storm. I think the better chances are going to be down toward Demopolis and along the US 80 corridor as we head through the course of the day today. Sunshine otherwise, an 86. 70 tonight, an early shower or storm. Areas of fog developing overnight. A thunderstorm complex could approach tomorrow afternoon, bring a chance for an afternoon shower or storm. 90. Friday, sunny skies and 91. Richard DeWetting at the Weather Channel for Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
It's 65 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back into the program. You're listening to the Martin Houston Show. Martin and Xavier, Simeon, the sound of Alabama sports. Your show, your team, guys. Big day for Bama yesterday. Let's quickly hit those two big recruits. Just what happened, and we'll save the details and jumping deeper into it for tomorrow.
Yeah, Alabama landed 2 commits yesterday. One, Tyler Younger, 3-star edge out of Greater Atlanta Christian School in Georgia. He's 6'4.5", about 225 pounds. Former wide receiver that got moved to edge last season. So talent's probably better than the star rating just once he gets more time at the position. And then, of course, Stafford Willis is an interior offensive lineman, 6'5", 290 pounds, out of the state of Alabama. He does play tackle in high school, but is projected to play guard at the next level. He's already talked about it. He's talked with Coach Clemens' staff. We'll get deeper into it tomorrow. But yeah, I think two really good picks for Alabama, two guys that make you feel a little bit better. And there's more to come this week as we got a couple more guys getting ready to make commits towards the Crimson Tide.
All right. Hey, Simeon, did you get to hear Stafford's comment?
Was it that they see him as a guard, and that with the potential to start in the next year or two?
In down the road.
Yeah.
In other words, was that a little insight maybe into a question we need to ask Coach DeBoer on tomorrow? Kind of what's the approach of this staff to recruiting? Are they going after guys that they are telling up front, we think you can play here, but we think you need to get in our program?
Yeah,
Don't you like the fact that this guy's coming in? Well, let me ask you another way. Do you like the fact that this guy coming in expecting to have to go to work before he ever steps foot on campus? Because every kid that gets recruited thinks they should start.
Right.
Because remember, there's not one kid that's getting signed by the University of Alabama that's not a star in their high school community.
Right. Even the 3 stars that Alabama's committing and signing right now. Even those, yeah.
They're all superstars in their high school. Like there's not a guy that's getting a scholarship from the University of Alabama that isn't a superstar in his community.
Right.
So I love it. We'll talk more about that. Simeon, real quick, Sorsby. Did the NFL protect themselves yesterday? Was that more about the NFL helping college football or helping themselves, or both?
I think it was finally sort of getting disciplined for his actions because he never fully got in trouble for anything because he was able to skirt around the suspension for the entire year from the NCAA, and then they were going to give him the 2-game suspension versus teams that they're going to beat anyway. And then he was like, you know what, never mind, I'm not going to play. I'm just going to go to the NFL. Well, no, you're not. I mean, because now they're not having a supplementary draft. So now I don't know how that goes, but I don't think he can even be signed as a free agent this year. I think he has to wait until next year's draft. And so I think this is his year-long suspension that the NCAA gave to him from the beginning.
And of course, his lawyers and everybody coming out, we're going to say this is against that and this. And they don't have to hold a supplemental draft. That is not required by law for the NFL to hold a supplemental draft. Brendan Sorsby, you cheated the game. This is your punishment. Your punishment should have been strictly from the NCAA. Cody Campbell and the rest of the we care about his mental health. That, to me, that's a load of crap. Not saying that you shouldn't care about players' mental health, but that's how they were trying to circumvent the NCAA and what they wanted to do and the rules that they have set in place. We're going to help you by letting you play in what led to your addiction. We shouldn't do that in anything, right? You're supposed to remove the person from the source of their addiction. And now the NFL said, now you got to sit out. Now you have to pay the actual price. So I thank you, NFL, for having a backbone and standing up.
Yeah, and I guess I agree with everything you guys are saying. I look at it, Sorsby, thought that he would just, okay, he's going to get play, and he's going to get $5 million, right, coming back. Then he realizes, man, this is going to be crazy. And I think the team also realized we're going to have to deal with this all year, and it's not just going to hurt. This team is, I think the university, somebody probably got enough guts to stand up to Cody Campbell and say, hey, this is hurting us. But they thought, and he thought that he was going to be able to go to the league. Now, here's the question, I guess, for whoever wants to jump on this. The NFL is not a moral police or the moral high ground, okay? So I don't think this is about punishing Sorsby. I think someone, in insurance, they have something they call an actuary, where they write your insurance based on the fact that they think they're going to make a certain amount of money off of you, whether it's driving or dying or whatever it is, right? Or your house likely burning down. If Sorsby, let's say this, if Arch Manning were to declare that he's not going to come back to college, and this decision had not been made, there'd be a supplemental draft. I think this is showing that Sorsby, not only did he not going to get a supplemental draft, he may not get drafted next year.
Mm-mm.
Because you start looking at the dudes he's going to have to beat out next year at quarterback.
I never thought he was good enough. I mean, he was that good in the first place.
13 and
Like,
18.
I mean, you look at his stats. I mean, they're all right, but I mean, compared to the guys he's going to have to go against next year, who are you taking? You're not taking him over Arch. You're not Dante Moore, Trinidad Chambliss, potentially Julian
CJ
Samuel.
Carr, probably. I'm not taking him over Lenore Sellers. There's a lot of guys I'm not taking him over.
Do you take him over Gunnar Stockton?
No.
See, so we're 5-6 quarterbacks deep in next year's class, and we still ain't taking Brendan Sorsby.
If Austin Mack is the starting quarterback at Alabama this year, balls out, you taking Austin Mack or Brendan Sorsby?
Well, we're talking about guys that we already know about. You know that every year there's always a Trinidad Chambliss that's gonna pop up. So there's already a list of guys who he's behind. And like I said, Wyatt, real quick, yes or no? Was this them being the moral police, or was them going, guys, we could really garner some street cred and some publicity and some favor on a positive thing if we rule and don't take him? Or was this about punishing this kid?
The NFL is not the moral high ground. We know that with everything that we've seen out of the NFL, but gambling is the one thing the NFL takes seriously more than anything else. They popped Calvin Ridley for a year for betting less than $1,000 when he wasn't even with the Falcons at the time. Like, he was on the roster, but he was on IR, so he wasn't even in the facility. They popped Jamison Williams for 6 games for betting on an NBA game just because he was in the Lions facility. Didn't even bet on the NFL, but just placed a bet in the facility. And you think they're going to let this joker who bet $90,000 on his own team play? Absolutely not. Did you read this? Did y'all see the statement from the NFL?
I did not read it.
I didn't.
The statement said basically saying you provided no reasoning why you belong in the supplemental draft, and you only did it 3 days before the deadline after withdrawing your litigation from the NCAA, basically saying the only reason you're coming to us is to avoid consequences for what you did, for your mistake. We're not going to fix that for you. So good luck. Figure it out.
Yeah, and the other part, as we go to break, and Simeon, you'll respond and take it to break, here's the guy. I think the NFL has one of the greatest business models ever. Someone else produces, invests, coach, develop, all of this, their employee roster. Could you imagine if Apple had another company that intentionally taught everybody how to be good at what Apple does, and then Apple, after 3 to 4 years, Apple can go to that company and just pluck the top employees? That's what the NFL has with college. Of course they want to protect college sports. I mean, they're going, man, because what do you think's happening? I guarantee you the NFL coaches and general managers in the last couple of years are saying the guys we're getting now are not as good as the guys we were getting 3 years ago because they're jumping and hopping and changing, and they're not learning a set skill set and developing it deeper. I guarantee you they can see the drop off if anybody can, Simeon.
Agreed. I think that the NFL won, like you said, college football is the NFL's prize possession, and they don't want anything to happen to it. So if there's anything that can buy them good graces with college sports, then college football, they're going to do it. And so definitely agree with that. And like you said, they probably don't like the way it's going either, because like nobody's as good as they used to be, and now there's too much flux. I'm pretty sure that even the athletes now, the rookies and second year guys, probably aren't as driven, or might not be as driven as they've been before, because some of these guys are multimillionaires before coming to the NFL, so their family is already set. So there's going to have to be finding other reasons for motivation to continue that effort. But
real quick, X, do you have anything? Have anything real quick? Because that's a whole show topic right there.
Yeah.
And so instead of not letting you respond, we'll just shorten the other side. Go ahead.
No, I mean I'm in lockstep with what Simeon said. I mean, it Brendan Sorsby and Texas Tech. This is how I'll wrap it up. Brendan Sorsby and Texas Tech have made themselves from a good up and coming program, whether you like the NIL side of it or not. But people were rooting for Texas Tech last year. Now you're the most hated program in the country. And I don't know if you can get back in the good graces because of the arrogance of the situation and how you decided to handle it.
Well, our society already, unfortunately or fortunately, whichever side you agree with, they don't have a lot of love for billionaires, first of all. and then you take a guy like Cody Campbell. This guy, to me, he's a pariah. If they don't do something, he's trying to, I don't know what his end game is, but he's definitely trying to become the big baller in college sports. And is this also about him as well?
I think it is. I mean, he's the one that shelled out $6 million, and and had already given Brendan Sorsby $2 million by this point in his, or by the time they agreed to mutually part ways. So yeah. Cody Campbell's got a large investment in what's going on in Texas Tech right now, and it blew up in his face. And now you're going to be starting a Tulsa transfer quarterback for 2 weeks, and one of those games is going to be on the road against a first-time head coach that would love to be able to get a marquee win early in his career in Jamarcus Shepard. And then, oh, by the way, your starting quarterback, Will Hammond, is coming off a torn ACL last year, and his first game is going to be on the road against a Big 12 opponent. So, yeah, they've got a lot of money invested in what's going on in Lubbock right now. And my question is going to be, at what point do they start to realize, hey, maybe this isn't worth my investment, right? Football, you got your butt spanked by Oregon. Men's basketball, you got your butt spanked by Alabama. Softball, you lost to Texas. Baseball, you didn't even make it to Omaha. Well, there's your big four right there. At what point, if you're, spending all this money on the best rosters in college sports and you're not winning championships, at what point do these people decide maybe this isn't worth it? Maybe this isn't a worthwhile investment right now.
Yeah, and that's where the NFL can build a program and a team, because they can invest in a superstar like an Arch Manning and know that they're going to have him 6, 7, 8, 12 years, where no matter what's the best, if you invest in the best player, like they did Ryan Williams, okay, Well, he's going to be maximum 3 years. No, if he's legit,
Oh, you're saying like
I'm saying, yeah, if he's legit, it's 3 and done.
3 years.
3.
Yeah.
And if he's not legit, you invested in a bust.
Yeah.
Or an average player. I mean, if Ryan Williams is here 5 years, everybody that invested in him after year 1 are like, well, crap, that was a waste.
Yeah.
Right? Because they're only picking the superstars. And how do you get a return on multiple $1 million in 3 years when there is no money for you to be made other than your ego? Let that sink in. The reason boosters are going to give is ego.
Yeah.
It's ego. And that's why I think that as much as we hate it right now, I think it will eventually self-correct. Coming back on the other side, NCAA does something. Coach Stalin said it for years. If they're for it, I'm against it. I may have to eat those words on the other side of the break. We'll talk about it on the other side.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. A very good morning to you on your Hump Day Wednesday. Getting off to a nice and quiet start as we usually do. Looking at flyover bridge construction on Skyland at 359 and Skyland between JVC Road and 2059. You've got road construction. Speaking of 2059, all is well in both directions, traveling between University and Joe Malisham. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, Tammy Tom.
Onyx, I keep having stomach issues. Please make me a doctor's appointment.
Okay, are you suffering from diarrhea, bloating, gas, or oily stools? If so, you may want to ask your doctor if it could actually be a problem with your pancreas, called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI.
My pancreas? How is EPI treated?
A prescription medicine like Creon, pancrelipase, is used to treat people who can't digest food normally because their pancreas doesn't make enough enzymes. Creon is the #1 prescribed treatment for EPI.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall, if you are allergic to pork, or if you have gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor and always with food. Do not chew capsules, as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon. You can learn more at 1-800-633-9110.
Before your appointment, visit creoninfo.com. That's CREON info.com.
The Venue, your new favorite Tuscaloosa hangout, food, music, and more. Come and taste what's new at the Venue, whether it's Liza's Sweet Shop, whether it's the all-day breakfast and burgers from Ramajama's, or the quality food that you can get at Finish Pub. Great atmosphere, great time, great people, great environment. That's the Venue. You can find them online at thevenuetuscaloosa.com, located off of Watermelon Road, just past Sokol Park. That's the Venue, Tuscaloosa's new favorite hangout. Make it yours.
Hey, man, thanks for coming so fast. I couldn't get anyone else to pick up.
Yeah, it's been a busy week. I'm not complaining, though. Business is way up lately.
Wow, good for you. I've been trying to grow my accounting practice, but it's been pretty slow.
Yeah, I was in the same boat last year. What really helped me was checking out this site, mylocalcustomers.com.
Never heard of it.
Well, most people haven't. It gives you a look at how many people in town are searching for what you do, and it also provides a plan to help them actually find you.
Like online?
Exactly. It's eye-opening, and it only takes a couple minutes to get started.
Huh. Well, you fixed my sink. Maybe you just fixed my business, too.
Want to know how many people in your area are searching for your type of business? Start with a local customer analysis at mylocalcustomers.com. It's quick, it's easy, and it's free. Go to mylocalcustomers.com today.
That's mylocalcustomers.com. mylocalcustomers.com.
It's time for the Martin Houston Show. With the same hard-hitting, no-nonsense approach in which he played the game, Martin will take you inside the locker room, down on the field, and across the goal line with his in-depth analysis.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show. Martin Xavier, Simeon, putting a bow on that Shoresby conversation. Lisa Rawls Fitz says, appreciate what the NFL did, protecting both NFL and college football with the position taken and how the denial letter was written. NFL is not impressed by his behavior or victim boy entitled persona. And then She said, plus he's an 0-8 November starting quarterback. so not only does he have 18 losses, eight in only 13 wins, he's 0-8. So there you go, right? But go ahead, Wyatt.
I watched that week 1 game against against Nebraska last year. Remember when they played in the Chiefs Stadium, and Brendan Sorsby in that game looked okay to start, game-winning drive, double coverage interception. That's worth $6 million. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to know what Keelan Russell's worth at that point then.
Yeah. Let's just hope Alabama keeps getting guys that want to play football and don't want to make some money, but also understand that there's bigger fish than college sports. And that getting to the next level is more important, or as important. Eligibility. Coach Stalin says if the NCAA is for it, if they for it, man, I'm against it. Right? So that's what, and I've kind of agreed with that majority of my life. But did they finally get something right, guys? Did they finally get it right? 5 for 5. One of the best moves I think I've ever seen. Go ahead, guys.
Sam?
Yeah, I think it's great. The official ruling is let me get it right. The athletes now have 5 calendar years to complete 5 full seasons of eligibility. The eligibility clock begins upon initial college enrollment or the academic year following the player's 19th birthday. So there's no more red shirts. It's just 5 to play 5. So I think that is perfect. It just go ahead and makes it plain. The strict waivers are, I think, religious reasons, military service, and or pregnancy, I think. But of course, there's going to be some lawsuits and all that stuff. But I think it's a great thing for the NCAA. They finally did something that makes it bare, and that you're like, you know what, this is it. Don't ask us for anything else. Anything after 5, it's a no.
Yeah, I like it. I think the 5 for 5 is good. Now the other question that when you talk about it, because of course you have the certain how many kids that got held back will no longer be held back.
Well,
because that there were guys that I know that came to Alabama the year before I graduated, the year I graduated stuff, that were 19 playing their senior year in high school when I was 17 as a senior. You know, stuff like that. So they were 20 showing up at Alabama. Now that hurts you.
Well, the question I guess you have to ask yourself is, would they be getting drafted if they had graduated high school? I mean, D1 if they had graduated at 17 or 18, right? So when you do that as a parent, you're saying I'm giving my child an extra year to grow, develop mentally, educationally, academically, spiritually, whatever your reasons are, right? You're giving them an extra year. Well, now that extra year may cause them a year of eligibility. But here's the thing. They still get 4 to play 4. So it's a risk versus reward type of thing. They don't lose anything from what they have today, Xavier. But they still now the reality of it is now you give it to them and you still can graduate a year later and still have your 4 years of eligibility. So
yeah, I just it's interesting that aspect of it. Then the overall thing, I think is good. 5 for 5. Make the most of it. It could be 3 years, it could be 4 years, it could be 5 years. Do what you got to do.
Go ahead.
No, it's just saying do what you got to do to get to the next level if that's what you want.
Now the question becomes, with this ruling, guys, how much more powerful will the approach Alabama appears to be taking? Now they're taking guys who they're telling, let's take Stafford, for example. They've told him, hey, you're not going to be a starter for 2 to 3 years. I mean, for your second or third year. But they can now play him the very first game he steps on campus. He can start getting reps now straight out of high school and not lose any eligibility. And in 2 years, when they've told him he's going to be fighting for a starting job, he's been playing every time Alabama had a blowout game. I mean,
every time.
Right?
Every time.
Right. I mean, you look at Derrick Henry, guys. Go back to Derrick Henry, Simeon, where Alabama did not play him because he wasn't a great blocker, but there was so many times that year that Alabama blew out people. Now he could have played in every game that was a scenario. Or you just give him a package and say, listen, it's first down and 10. They don't know if we're going to pass or run. Derrick, you go.
Yeah.
Right. Now, Simeon,
go ahead.
When is this retroactive at all?
It's immediate.
It's for whoever's a senior this year can Bray Hubbard. Go ahead.
Could come back.
Current college players can opt into whatever rule, either the old or new rules, whatever gives them the most benefit, whatever's best for them, right? So for guys, Bray Hubbard, he could theoretically come back, but he's going to the NFL unless, God forbid tragedy strikes, he's off to the NFL. But for a guy that it could really help is Caleb Woodson, Desmond Umeozulu, who were out of eligibility, but under the new rule, because Umeozulu, I'm sure he's a great player. He sat behind Dylan Stewart for 2 years at South Carolina, and now he's going to be sitting behind Yanze Pierre. He got reps, but he didn't get starting reps. So if Yanze has a really good year and goes off to the NFL, could we see Umeozulu come back and compete for a starting spot at that Wolf linebacker position? Because we know he's not going to be a starter this year unless Yanze's out.
Yeah.
So it could really, really help guys like that. And Devon Tompkins is another one that it could really help. If Caleb Woodson doesn't have the year that he wants because he's learning a new defense, he could come back for that 5th season and suddenly be that veteran anchor at the inside linebacker room as a green dot guy at that point for Alabama. And so
does this make JUCO guys more appealing?
I think it does. I think it makes JUCO guys a lot more appealing because they've got that extra year. And we've already seen Alabama have a couple of JUCO guys on the roster in cornerback Nick Sherman, offensive lineman Tyrell Miller, 2 guys that may not play a ton this season, but could very easily in two seasons could suddenly be key contributors on this roster. The 5 for 5 only applies, not only, 2027 recruits. They don't have an option. So whoever is signing in December, they are 5 for 5. They don't get the option of the old rule. Everybody currently on a roster does get the option of either new rule or old rule, which is really beneficial because Lorcan Quinn's a 25-year-old sophomore. So he's got, he's still got a couple of seasons left. If it was, 4 or 5 years of eligibility, he'd be done after this year. Yeah. So really, really key for the current players to pick whichever one helps them most.
Yeah, and guys, this may be instead of us trying to cram it, because this topic is so deep, let's kick it to a free-for-all Friday and talk a little bit more about it, because tomorrow we have Coach DeBoer joining us, so we'll spend the first quarter probably setting up that conversation, and then we'll talk to him, and then, of course, there'll be reaction right after that. Top running back conversation is one of those conversations we're going to have, but there's no urgency in it, so we'll kick that can down the road as well. NCAA, thank you. Thank you, because I think it puts Alabama in a great position. Coming back on the other side, we're going to have the Harvest Church Christian Moment of the Week. And, hey, I'm going to tie it into this whole NFL draft. First shall be last, last shall be first. We'll be back on the other side.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. We are moving right along on your Tuscaloosa freeways and side streets right now. Taking a look at Skyland Boulevard. It's A-OK between 2059 and 69. And speaking of 2059, all wide open from University to Joe Malisham. Lurleen Wallace travels nice and quietly for the time being from 5th to McFarland. And McFarland looking good from Watermelon to 43. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, I'm Tammy Thomas.
This report is sponsored by RockAuto.com.
Save more at Townsend Nissan. Sentra, $195 a month. Rogue, $288 a month. $6,000 off Pathfinders and 3 years of free oil changes. Townsend Nissan, your family in the car business.
Oh, that grinding and squealing. What are you going to do about that?
Time for new brakes. The chain store never has what I need.
No worries. Go to rockauto.com for name brands at lower prices.
All the parts your car will ever need, Rock Auto.
After a wreck, the clock starts immediately. The insurance company is already working, protecting themselves, gathering statements, and looking for a reason to deny your claim. One wrong move, one missed deadline, one thing said too soon, and your case can be damaged or lost forever. You don't need to figure this out alone. You need protection. You need guidance, and you need it now. Call Ms. Reno, 900-9000. That's 900-9000 for a free consultation. No fees unless we win. No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than that of other lawyers.
The sound of Bama Sports. Your show, your team. The Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin, Xavier, and Simeon. Scotty Hollins is out on assignment, but he'll be back with us maybe this week or joining in next week. So I'm going to take today's Harvest Church Christian Moment of the week. And I always like to encourage you through things that you can relate to in sports. And today we talked about the NBA draft and Phylon being drafted number 22, lower than he hoped, probably lower than many expected. In the words that they used to describe it, he fell in the draft. Well, did he really fail? Let me encourage you, because you may find yourself the 22nd pick versus the number 1 overall pick, and maybe feeling bad about your current situation. When being picked later becomes your greatest advantage is the title for today's devotion. Jesus said, so the last will be first and the first will be last, as Matthew 20, verse 16. And every year in sports draft, the top picks always receive the most attention. They have the biggest expectations. They have the brightest spotlights. Yet history has shown that many times those drafted highly in the draft struggle under the pressure and the expectations, while players selected later find that they have the right fit, the right coach, the right system, the right opportunity to flourish. Well, life can be the exact same way when it comes to working things out. You may not have been the first choice. You may not have started with the best circumstances. You may not have been born with a silver spoon in your mouth. You may not have the highest position in your company. You may not be where you want to be in your career, or you may not be getting the recognition that you think you deserve. But God is not limited by where you begin or where you're at. In fact, your current situation, that struggle that you're facing, the fact that you fail, air quotes, may be the very place that God is using to prepare you for something greater. Romans 8:28 reminds us that we know that all things work together for the good of those who love God and have been called according to his purpose. So think about the player. Now, let me say the sidebar. Just because you're drafted high, just because you were born into a blessed situation, just because you've had success, I'm not saying that means that you're gonna fail. I'm trying to encourage those who may not be where they wanted to be. They may not have been selected where they wanted. They may be disappointed with their current career. By now, you ought to be, or you want to be, or you think you should be. Don't get discouraged in that place. Grow in that place. The player drafted lower may discover that what seemed like a setback or a disappointment was actually the perfect environment for their growth. Likewise, what feels like a disadvantage for you today may become the foundation of tomorrow's success. So here's a few takeaways. Your starting position does not determine your final destination. God measures your faithfulness, growth, and perseverance, not where you begin. So no matter where you are today. It's like in the old days when you used to go to the mall, they had this big sign and say, "You are here." That's all that means. Wherever you're at, pick where you want to be and begin that journey today. The right environment, number 2, the right environment can be more valuable than early recognition. Phylon may not be the number 10 pick or a lottery pick. I bet you Brandon Miller would trade to be on a contender if he had to do it all over, right? The right environment can be more valuable than the early recognition. Sometimes God will place you where you can develop character, skills, strength before elevating you. And number 3, Saban used to tell us to trust the process. I'm telling you, trust God's process. What looks like being overlooked may actually be divine preparation. God can use every circumstance and every situation for your good and his purpose. I want to encourage you, be like the moonflower. Some of God's greatest work happens in seasons that seem dark and unnoticed. What develops in the shadow can one day bloom beautifully in the light. Your circumstances may not be where you shine, but they may be exactly where God is preparing you to flourish. And if you're wondering what a moonflower is, it spends the days closed and unassuming, then opens its large, beautiful white blooms at dusk, shining in the darkness of night. It reminds us that some beauty is revealed only after a period of waiting. So I want to encourage you as we wrap up this show. You may not be where you want to be. You may not have had the success you wanted to have. Understand this. The Bible says the first shall be last, the last shall be first. So if you're not where you think you should be, keep fighting. Keep persevering. Keep pressing on toward the goal and the target. And I believe that God can turn things around and will turn things around. So be encouraged today. Keep doing what you're doing if you're doing it the right way. If you're not doing it the right way, change and see if that also changes your trajectory. I'm Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show. That has been the Harvest Church Christian Moment of the Week. I hope you've been encouraged by that. Keep running, keep fighting. It's been a great show. We talked about LeBaron Phylon. Kudos to him and congratulations on being the 50th state of Alabama player drafted in the draft. Alabama's latest number 1 first-round draft pick. Talk a little about recruiting. We'll go deeper on that tomorrow. We talk about eligibility. We'll probably get that deeper on Friday. Shoresby, hate it, but consequences. And we'll talk about top running backs, our thoughts there tomorrow. Don't forget, we have Coach Kalen DeBoer joining the program. Cannot wait. He'll be joining us in the second quarter. I'm Martin Houston. That's Simeon Houston, Xavier Houston, and Wyatt Fulton pressing all the right buttons. Remember this, trust in the Lord always. Lean not your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. Roll Tide, everybody. We'll catch you on tomorrow.
Party with you. Come on now.
Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama.